Well, good evening. Just sitting here kind of bored. Might as well share my life with the world. Anyways, I looked the videos over. I got to do I need some help on editing. I like to combine the two videos and reveal them. I did editing on videotape years ago, and I can't figure this one out. So I had a 3/4 video when I did stuff for cable TV's prominence, and that was pretty cool. And so anyways, just sitting here thinking about what's coming down the line for our country. I heard from Dabu77, good guy to get your news from. He pretty cool cat. He was talking about the stocks going down heavy, and he's talking about gold prices going up. Well, I think in one of my videos I cover that Russia last year bought 11,000 tons of gold. So if you think about the gold prices going up, they're the ones making money. We ain't got shit. We got nothing in that vault down there in Kentucky, Fort Knox. When I was younger, you know, they say, "Wow, you're rich as Fort Knox." You don't even say that shit no more. You can't. It's kind of degrading. So that happened, and then we also seen the Chinese paying for their oil now with yen, which is a big assault on our currency. And what that means for you and I, and I'm no expert in economic engineering, but I would suggest that means next time you go buy that $15 spatula that ain't worth 2 cents, that some Chinese put together and imported and could get it here, well, it's probably going to be $25, and the quality isn't going to go up. And maybe they hate you enough. I once says, what if the Chinese, many years ago, as you in the car repair industry, and I said, what if the Chinese hated us and put plutonium in brake rotors, say something like that? I says, are American people in charge of things, they're going to protect us from something like that? That would be catastrophic, wouldn't it? Well, we don't know how to build anything. Just about everything I'm wearing is Chinese, except the coat. And it's really remarkable. You know, we got more folks, probably it's past, what do they call that, prime time, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And all that mind shit that they got out there to sit there and vegetate to and watch. Many are going to gravitate towards that. And YouTube is fantastic, man. YouTube is fantastic. I don't think people even dream that much anymore. At one time, I wonder how they make bread or something. You go to YouTube, learn how to make bread. Anything. No one guy on here teach you how to fix your teeth. Kind of barbaric, but you fix your teeth. And so we're just kicking back here on Monday night here, and my radio station, my favorite radio station, Salt Lake, turned upside down. And community radio out there, and they sounded more like commercial. So we don't participate in that too much. But we usually run a night with some music. Right now I got some Reiki stuff on in the background, just kind of soothing. I'm just waiting for later on tonight and try to get to sleep. This Lyme has a lot to do with insomnia. Yeah, insomnia. So it's kind of weird though. Some of it, because where I live, it's nice and quiet. Hey, my friend. I hope you've seen my other video on 5G, my friend. Because these poor deep bees, and including us, are really going to get hammered hard. We're going to get really hammered hard with this 5G coming in. And I'm not going to say too much, but you do know RF and all that. So they're like 170 megahertz, 130 megahertz. I mean gigahertz. It's phenomenal. I remember one time we were having a conversation years ago, and somebody had thrown in about windmills and how they kill birds, and how the whole concern with killing birds, windmills, and I don't know how you feel, but if you got 300 kilowatts coming out of a cell tower 4 or 5 years from now, and you're running 130, 170 gigahertz off it, and an eagle flies by, I think you'll watch it explode right in front of you. That's a lot of wattage, and so we get that coming. I haven't checked into any bees. I'm not going to. I'm just going to put lemongrass out this year and hope for the best. I mean, lemongrass oil. I was supposed to order some lemongrass and get that started. Oh, are you kidding? Are you kidding? I don't know. You know, I'm wondering if in the feeder, I guess you wouldn't use a feeder in the fall, but I'm wondering if there's something we can put in the feeder. I don't know, turmeric, an antibacterial. Turmeric is very good for antibacterial. What if you could do that? What if you could inoculate your bees with something to try to give them a little bit of up. I don't know what your case is down there. I don't understand my case. I'm not too proficient on these, but I do know between chemtrail and pesticides, I know. I could only imagine, my friend. Look, you have no room to be crying. I told you after I sent you those pictures, you said that was a magnificent hive. And I told you that we should send it out and to have it bronzed and be put in some square somewhere as a tribute to the honeybee population. Last year, as you know, I got a lot of biting flies. The deer fly, the horse fly, every kind of fly up here biting. And I'll tell you, last year was two things I noticed last year. There was no bugs, and the chemtrails had persisted throughout last winter. Like, I've had a really, really good winter. I've been able to go out on my porch when it's nice and quiet and look at the stars. Seen many shooting stars this year, very clear. But last winter was horrific. And every night, well, I don't quite remember, but I would say right after, an hour after sunset, we'd get them moving in from the west, and just X's and O's. Not too many O's. I don't get too many O's here. I get turns, though. They look like an F. I don't know what to say. I mean, you know, some people back you up against the wall saying, well, they're not indigenous to North America. I thought they were, but they're saying it's not, so oh well. But what a great bug that was put on this planet with so much good health that can come out of the bee pollen, the bee, I forgot what that stuff is. I forgot what the stuff was. I think it's like a brownish stuff. There's bee pollen, and there was something else, and then the honey. And boy, I don't know if you've seen the price of honey, raw honey. I got screwed, by the way. You just hang on there for just a second. I'll show you this. This is deceptive. Deceptive. I try to find it because Ralphie's kind of. Oh my gosh. And honey, unfiltered. It's pasteurized. It's pasteurized. I don't know if you can see through that, but it's pasteurized. And that was kind of a little bit of a deceptive advertisement for honey. It's a great sweetener. I've been using this Stevia. What is this stuff for? I've been using this. It's supposed to really combat Lyme. Truvia. It's very expensive. But this is supposed in its natural state and not Walmart brand. It's supposed to be very, very good for you. Anyways, that's what I hear. And I still don't have my radio fixed. I haven't sent that out. I just been busy. Oh, no, that's not possible. If that was possible, douchebag be talking about it, I'm sure. Hi. That's, and I don't want to talk too much on here because it is public, but everything going out with the rowboat. Did you ever get that rowboat? Getting that all set? You said you were building a rowboat. Hi, wink, wink. Anyways, I hope that's all set to go because it looks like a freaking mess coming our way. We've been pretty good up here, you know. There's a couple of channels on here that was starting to get reports where you could report what was going on, take pictures. And I don't remember. There's one girl in California. She looks about my age, maybe a little older, slick-looking woman. I think her name's Jean. And I wish you could have. I wish I could have heard that. You know, but he's going off on me too, and I was, you know, they all blocked me, so. You know, we're sick again. I don't know if you realize that because I just did another video. We're sick again. Yeah, but right here. And it must have been when I was sleeping. I went out back that night. It was a real nice night. I thought I had a crawly. Couldn't find him. And I woke up. He bit me right there. Buddy, he's fifth time. I mean, we couldn't discuss nothing. That was such a great thing. And he's a disruptor. That's all. That's my personal opinion about it. It's a disruptor. And I'm going to say too much about it. The great conversations that went on that were legendary. Legendary. I mean, people probably wouldn't even watch TV if they could tune us in, you know, years ago. It was funny. It was exciting. It went on all night long. And great amount of information passed by. So everyone's got a little change in their lives, and they're doing their own thing. And me, just economically, I can't send that out yet. I got too much. Yeah, I heard from Captain Dave, by the way. And that was kind of a sad story. He's having trouble with the FCC. So I don't want to say too much about that, but I did get a letter from him. He's just It just totally burnt up. And it was all to do with the Standing Rock. The night we started, the week we called many contacts out there in Standing Rock and did a live interview. And I remember very well, I had a good signal. So that was third party traffic. Him and I were in communication. And so that was a historic. I wish somebody had recorded that. I heard kind of weird stuff about 3890, LibertyNet kind of falling apart and people infighting. And I just don't know what's going on in this country. I truly believe if you're drinking fluoride or washing, more important, washing in a shower with fluoride, I think you're doing yourself a real disjustice, especially putting your kids in fluoride. I suggest two things in city folk life, and that's number one, filter fluoride out of your house if you can. Some people just don't have the money. It can get quite expensive. You're up $200-300, I think, to strip it out for your whole house. Number two, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. And I did a video and I talked about that. And talked about turning off the Wi-Fi. Get out of that RF field. I think it's 5 gigahertz, I think. I could look it up. I think it's 5 gigahertz. It's not putting out a whole lot of wattage. But unless you have a reason to keep that on all night, I'd turn it off. You don't have to turn your modem off. That isn't irradiating too much RF. But definitely, well, I'm trying to clean it up. And, I'm trying to clean up my language and not go off so much. But, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, I hope you get something out of it. It's just like leaving a legacy. We just had, I'm ex-military. We just had an Russian sub off this coast. And it was undetectable. We can't detect them. Those subs, I think, got 32 missiles, ICBMs, I think 32, but I'm not sure. And some of the warheads, and I'm not sure about this either, if there's 10 on there, each one has 13 warheads. And that's nothing to mess around with. We threw the consulate out of Washington State. Putin threw 60 of our people out. We're going back to the Cold War. These are like, I'm sitting here like, thank you. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm 60 years old. I says, how the freak can you leave this to a legacy to your children of bringing back the Cold War? And what are you going to do? Jam them all up? Is this the way you're going to reduce population in this world? I mean, it's all set to go in another 3 years, Agenda 21. And I mean, there's no fallacy about that. That's not conspiracy. Clinton signed it. He made China favorite nation trade status. And that's not a joke. And now here we are, 20 years later, 30 years later, and we're screwing with them. South China Sea, you're down there screwing with them. And listen to these clowns talk about nuking North Korea. I had served with several young fellas at the time. We're in our 20s, and on the DMZ in North Korea, and it says it's unwinnable. I says, why it's unwinnable? I'm a young punk, man. You don't tell me we can't win nothing. We'll kill gas. We'll roast them to death. It's unwinnable. So they got 10 million troops, 10 million troops. We got maybe 200 max on the border. And they send a wave of 2 million onto the border. We got nuclear bombs on there, buried, mines. And they set them off. You vaporize their 2 million, but you vaporize us. And then go back a little ways, maybe, I don't know, 50 kilometers or something. You got another wall of our troops, and 3 million on top of 60,000. Then others say, well, we'll nuke them off the planet. You nuke them off the planet, you're dealing with a whole bunch of radiation floating all around. Fukushima wasn't enough. And now you're going to go drop, what, 100 megatons in total, not 100 megaton bomb. But you want to cut the country up with 5 megatons, artillery shells, missiles or whatever? You're crazy. Absolutely, they're crazy. They're crazy. These people, either they're jumping ship right now and going to let us all while they go underground or wherever the hell they're going. But the world has really turned quite into a mess. Our country has, and I don't think it's the rest of the world. I don't really give a shit what goes on outside my border. You know, talking about border, I'm going to build a fence. The migration routes of animals, all kinds of animals. Remember, that's why they went to the Bundys. They used it for the tortoise. The desert tortoise, that desert tortoise migrates. And you put a fence up like that, and the sheep, the goats, the tortoise, and all that shit can't migrate. I'm not worried about them people coming into our country. I'm more worried about them coming in through chemtrail aircraft. And that's what I know of it. 68% of them that come here, the illegals, come from aircraft. They come in on charter. Not charter. They come in on commercial aircraft. But hope everything's going well for your wife and kids down there, and I hope you're doing well. And pretty funny. I know you don't listen too often to that, and you turned it on, and Kevin's going off like that. And oh well, I miss Possum. I miss Possum. You know, I don't miss the other clowns. I don't miss them. I actually, the last couple of years, I was just on 40 meters. I made some friends on 40 meters down in the extra portion, but I threw my call out once in a while. And we had some good listening nights here. Man, that antenna really worked well. It's all down and kind of just no hope of getting that shit together. So things are changing. I don't know everything, but I do know something. As somebody that was born and raised here, I don't like the way our country is going. And I think we're really lacking compassion to one another. There's so many people that are working dead-end jobs, you know, not making a living wage right off the bat. There's no industry going to come back here. This trade war with China, I feel, may have a chance of getting stuff back. So in other words, if this widget right here, I can get from China for 10 cents, and this widget can be made in America for 11 cents, then there might be like some superheroes that come up, well, you know, I'm going to pull my shit out of China and we're going to build it back over here and keep it here. The problem with that is if you go too far, we owe them so much money that I'm certain they're going to get really pissed off and react to it. So I'm just sitting back and watching Donald Trump. When I had talked to you that year before the election, I told you and I were like giddy, man. We got on the phone and they were like giddy, and I don't mean in a queer way. I mean just giddy, like yeah. He's gonna spill the beans. He's gonna spill the beans. He didn't do that. There's a 2-minute video on here of him really going off on the reefer. That really pissed me off. We're all gonna go down in the shitter. Why don't you pull the plug on federal reefer laws? At least throw us a bone. Tell Jeff Sessions to go suck dick. You know, if I was in that position, I'd walk in there with a Secret Service agent, and I got to be careful what I'm saying, but I'd order that Secret Service, give me a firearm. And I put in that pig's mouth. They says, you got 30 minutes to address to the world that you had a change in heart and you're going to pull the plug on the class 1 reefer drug completely. We don't want a class 4, class 10, class nothing. You know, that's a kind of government you need in there. And you know, I heard from some elders, and again, I'm not beating on anybody because. Okay, well, man, it's like the first smile I could come out with today. I've been so sick. You know, they were saying, you know, like you take George Bush, they're staunch Republicans, but they can't believe what's going on. And you take George Bush Sr., Poppy Bush, Poppy Heroin Bush. In his administration, when he couldn't get along with people that they put in, or they had gripes with him, they at least try to work together. Remember, this isn't about Jeff Sessions or Donald Trump. This is about America. And Jeff Sessions got a real pair of cojones. I can say that, I think. Pair of cojones. And, you know, to sit there and I watched him testify, and I was just in amazement. These people are still the people that want to string up blacks in Mississippi and South Carolina. This guy is not only a racist, he's really demonic in my eyes. Nobody. I truly believe he's waiting for Mitt Romney to come in. Mitt Romney is going to take over Orrin Hatch, and I think they're actually waiting. I really do. I believe they're waiting in the wings to start this pot war all over again. I don't think it's over. I'm surprised Colorado didn't say nothing. A state like Colorado, for what, 4 years now, they legalized reefer, and they can't process in banks. They couldn't process their money in banks. They had trouble with all financial side of running businesses there. And I think when Obama called on it, when he was in office, remember, he said he was going to legalize it too. And then they pulled the plug on him. They put a fence jumper in the White House to change his mind. And that's my true belief. But if you think about it, how does a state that votes for a stinking weed and to take the penalty off the weed, how is it possible when you get 29 states, I believe, to still have a federal government so slow, oppressive? For what reason? And I truly believe a lot of that goes back to Native Americans. If they pull class 1 drug off if they pull reefer off a class 1 drug, all these nations, Sioux Nation, Navajo Nation, all of them are going to be able to smoke and grow pot on their property, and there ain't a thing they can do about it. And they're worried about that because then alcoholism will go down. And it's already been shown. Alcoholism will go down. And that's a big, big lobbyist organization. And the reefer side of things, if everyone can grow this stuff like they do cabbage, you get very little leverage. You get very little leverage as far as lobbyists, you know what I'm saying? Like they're reefer lobbyists now, but they're all for big pharma, and that's all they are. Yeah, I don't think you got average everyday lobbyists in there buying off our senators and House of Representative people. Yeah, anything you guys want to talk about? You can maybe steer me off. I just took a whole shitload of tincture. I got a new tincture. Let me show it to you. Oh, we got so this is Buddies. This is Buddies. And this is a tincture for Great Cape herbs. I don't know if you can read that. My camera isn't very good. but this is it's to help with the line fog, and it helps a little bit. But see, I just started taking this afternoon because I didn't get another load until today. But this has lemon balm and mimosa, and TULS, Tolls, TULS. And it's supposed to be very potent in combating the line fog. And this is Great Cape Herbs Lime 2. This really, I'm already starting to feel better, believe it or not. Better, but I've been in a fog and I have. Oh, you sing so beautiful. I wanted to do a video when we get jamming some night with him singing. And some people say, oh, it's hurting his ears, it's hurting his ears. It is. And the sad part is if you was where you were and you still had your setup and I had my setup, we'd be on live. We'd be on live. We'd be on 14 meters right now, 20 meters. Be all over the world. ID every 10 minutes and tell people what we're doing, watch our language. And so this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do, and it's helpful, and it's crazy, man. I got people look at me, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I bring them to my car. I got 2 ticks scotch taped to the hood of my car. That was last fall. I was working on the window mechanism in my car. I had 4 of them on me. I don't know what's going on here. There's no mice here. There's no mice. No signs of mice. I got traps everywhere. I ain't got no traps in. I got nothing sprung in the camper. You know, first year I was here, I was getting them repetitively in the camper. I go in there, 3 or 4 body count each month or whatever. And I don't know how they're getting in here. So it's certainly better than TV. Yeah, And what'd be really cool? I don't really know how to do things, but you could join me. You could join me. I don't know how to do it though. You could join me. You could. No, just mice that got in the camper, but the mice carry. They're big carriers. They're big carriers. So mice heard a deer mouse can have up to 60 on their face alone, and they are pretty brutal. Buddy's made friends with. It might sound weird, but he made friends with some owls. And they're not here hunting, and I think they're getting ready to have their babies. And like the bees hive and the bat box, I was going to build a owl box. And he comes over us once in a while. I had 2 eagles over here today. The 2 eagles came back and they visited. And I was glad I got a chance to see them. But he's got friends here. He's got a fox. He's got a foxy girlfriend. I got a glimpse of her one morning. She's really fine. You know, I mean, they don't romp around out there, but they bark back and forth at one another. And then all the owls started. One night we had about 7 or 8 of them. It was freaky, man. It was freaky, and I kept yelling at them, fly under the moon so I could see. And sure as shit, man, you cannot see that. Them things fly through the woods, and you can't hear them moving. I couldn't anyway. There's, yeah, a lot of good possibilities with YouTube. You know, I like it. You know, I don't know if they'll ever use it for nefarious reasons. But, you know, at this point, I'm not really too worried about it. I don't think anyone's doing anything wrong on YouTube. Just a people place for them to express themselves. And so you guys got anything you like to add or anything you want to say? Any topic you like to cover? I'd rather keep it off of the New Jersey nightmares. Nightmares. I think there's a couple of them down there. We're just hanging out. How's the stove running? This year, no, I made it clear, right? They died from Lyme. Oh, great. Yeah, I want to just make sure you understand. No, they didn't die from Lyme. They died from the traps I have set in there. If you don't set traps and use poison. Oh, really? No wood? That'd be remarkable. You can't get wood after the storm you guys had. I heard it was brutal. Oh. Wow. My buddy in Rhode Island, I'm pushing 87. Rhode Island got hit with that storm so bad, it filled this whole backyard. You snowed in right now? No. Are you for real? Wow. Wow. You know, I don't know what's going on, honeybee, but those storms came up here. The last one that really wreaked a whole bunch. Wow. Wow. See, Rhode Island told me it was all melting down there. So that's some kind of weird thing where north don't melt. The north melts and the south doesn't, because you're south. That storm that came in November was brutal. It was the wind here and the ice was pretty phenomenal. And a lot of trees knocked down. I lost power for about a week. I think it was a week. I think it was 7 days almost exactly. And oh, no way. That sucks. Gotta get a teepee. Get a nice 20-foot teepee. Throw your wood in there. They're really strong. But oh well, you burn a little oil, you know, you're getting by. We're doing good. My story was I needed to do work on the glass, stove glass, and I wasn't going to go back to the local. And I just looked up on the internet, and I got this place in Whitefish, Montana. Well, actually, this is about same here. If you got to go, I understand it. It is nice. It's nice to communicate, man. We rocked, you know, and I think it was really a shame. It was a real shame. I think it just, I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it. I'll talk to you on the phone. Call me anytime. If people say, well, I'm worried. No, I turn my Wi-Fi off at night, so don't worry about it. But getting back to the stove, you know, I think it was a couple of years ago, I was just so sick and tired of buying local and getting the wrong gaskets and all. And I called Montana, the stove company in Montana. And anyways, I got $113 to one piece of glass, a big, huge steel plate that goes inside the stove, all the gaskets for $113 delivered. The other guy for that one plate wanted $498. I called him twice with the casting mark, and he kept telling me $498. He wanted $130, I think, for the glass. And I was like, oh, I was appalled. I think there was a year when we shut off a radio, and I was sitting here wondering what I'm going to do. I can't afford this, you know. Anyways, I called Montana. I got that. I got a piece of glass. I got 2 new gaskets, all the stove gaskets delivered to my house, $113. None of it's Chinese. It's all Vermont casting. And so we're dealing with them. Plus, I had the wrong gasket in that glass. That gasket was not supposed to be a flat gasket. It was supposed to be a round gasket. And I can tell you something, up to about 2 weeks ago, I haven't had any trouble this winter. The stove didn't go out on me mysteriously. I've been having a little trouble like that in the last few days. But other than that, she ran just beautiful. We're about, well, I think we're 50 or 100, about 120 bags of coal so far. It wasn't a bad winter here. And thank God the skies were clear, you know. It is, but, you know, I really, really am trying to save up to get another one this year. Because she gave me a tough time this past week. And seems like everything came down on me this week. But, you know, it was, you know, a very, very mysterious thing that went on here, and it was a stove glass. And maybe they're loosening up now. The screws are tight, but maybe just through a hard winter, they can't handle it. I tried contacting Morton Thiokol, who built the space shuttle boosters, and I wanted to buy some super high temperature, what do they call that shit? Silicone gasket. And that's what I would like to do. I'd like to find some professor in the world that's got, you know, 700-800 degree gasket material and get rid of this fibrous gasket. I think the stove would run really well. The second thing I'm aimed at doing, even if I can't buy a new stove this year, is I'm putting that magic heater in. I'm putting that magic heater. That asshole, and I don't need to say, excuse my language, ladies, but you all know who I'm talking about, maybe. And, you know, tell me that barometric damper is the stupidest thing. And so this year we're going to try to get a magic heater in here. And it'll be really, really nice. It'll blow down the corridor and keep my pipes from freezing. And, you know, when we get down to 15 below, 10 below, 20 below, the drain pipes freeze. I had a little trouble this year with a couple of frozen water pipes, but they didn't last too long. They didn't. They're all PEX tubing, so I'm not worried about it. But it was like 6-7 hours into the day they came undone. Someone gave me an 8-horse snowblower, which I was so happy about. And I brought it home last fall, and it ran good. And we had the first storm, and I went out there, and it ran for about 20 minutes and kept shutting down. I thought I had a fuel problem, going crazy, not putting out no spark. Well, the ignition coil blew out, so I got another one, put it on there. ran for about a half an hour, shut off, then go start it again. It would stop for a while, be skip, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, long story short, Tecumseh, the way they built their flywheel was they put two magnets recessed, and then they capped it with another one, and that one was, you know, flush. Well, that magnet was gone. And I found on blogs that these magnets fly out. So I couldn't buy a new magnet. I wasn't spending $200 on a flywheel, so I cut a refrigerator magnet out, and JB welded it, and she runs pretty gosh darn good. I tell you, we had a storm here, 15 inches maybe a couple weeks ago. That was that wet concrete. And I finished in 8 hours here. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. You know, that storm with the other machine would have taken me pretty close to 30 hours to do what I got to do here. And that's it. It is. It is. I mean, it's got problems. It's got problems. Ain't no question about it. You know, it's not luxurious, but it's pretty cool, you know. It's really sad I have no companions to share with, either male or female, you know. That really does. That sucks in a way. But the way people are now, I can even trust people, you know. I mean, I trust you, but I'm talking about like meeting somebody and then going through the whole stages of meeting a companion, you know, and having trust in one another, good friendship, you know. That's really been lacking up here. Like I meet people, I only meet them for the summer when I go out west and take care of camps and stuff, and really feel a lot closer than the way things have gone up here. So my friend in Idaho sent me a new hop, and so this was a cool story. It was I think it was 8 and 9 draw keys were hanging up. It was brand new out of the package, and I watched a YouTube video on how to tune them. Although my hands and my eyes aren't very good anymore to be tuning them, you know, it's a skill. And anyways, I called up Honer, and I says to him, I got 2 draw keys. Can I send this back? I'll pay you to repair it. He says, what key is it in? I told him. He sent me another one, so I got 2 of them. That was a real delight, and Honer didn't want the harmonica back. So those things were that easy with a lot of places, you know, you deal with nowadays. They want all this crap, and they're making Chinese crap. And so that's it. Didn't feel like blowing for a couple nights now. Just really, it's good. It's good to talk, you know. I'd rather talk to you than talk to myself like I do here. Some may call that crazy. Fuck you. You get this shit in your goddamn lungs. You need to exercise your lungs. And I'll tell you something. How quickly? Oh, I shouldn't have said F you. That's, I think, my first F you. Many years ago, I had another dog. It was about 4:30 in the morning. I had to be up at 5:30. And she woke me up. She was like gagging and stuff. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell? I didn't even think I was going to get her to the vet. And anyways, the vet, when I went to the vet, said the vet, she had Lyme. And then she got it another time, and I knew right then and there she was going to test positive. Well, that's what happens to him, and that's what happens to me. It really does affect my lungs. And even though I smoke, I blow the keys out of this thing. And you know, I'm not a competitive man, but even if you don't know how to play one of these, just try to blow something along with me. You won't find the wind. You know, I got good sustain for my age, what I've been through. And, man, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. You know, the attack on it. And that's what the mullein, that's what the mullein is in here for, and the rosemary oil, by the way. Because he added that. He added it because he said that's good for lung bacteria. And actually, my tobacco, you know, my organic tobacco is, I think it's good. I go out there and I smoke an organic cigarette. You want to see something really mind-blowing? Chemtrail. I don't know if this is going to show up on TV. I don't think this is going to show up. I want to see the color of this. I don't know if you can see the color of that. That's my this year's chemtrail tobacco. Pale, white. And then this is from 2 years ago. This is from 2 years ago. And so this piece, I'll show you a comparable. That's my tobacco from 2 years ago. Basically the same thing. But look at the color to it. I don't know if you can see that. My garden got ripped up so bad from trailing this year. The tobacco, this stuff, it's worthless. And escarole, my escarole was yay big. I got pictures of it. I think I sent it to you. And that was 2 years ago. Reefers, corn, peppers, sunflowers, big sturdy sunflowers. This year was a train wreck. Peppers were like 6 weeks behind. All the sunflowers were all like hermaphrodited, like 8 heads coming off of them, and all lanky, and it just did not have the sunshine. The corn, potatoes did pretty good. I just grew a couple of potatoes in a wire basket. Really cool, you know. You get some old bins back there, even if they got holes in them, fill them up with some compost and just throw a couple of potatoes in there, and throughout the summer, just keep burying the leaves, you know. And get a few potatoes, kind of neat thing, maybe for the kids or something. I'm sure you guys aren't going to be into that. You're going to be out on your new ride. That's very cool, man. That'll be very cool. I hope to see pictures from that, your new ride this year. You can go out. Right now, it don't look like I'm going to get to Rhode Island, though. Not until I can straighten these vehicles out. I got a sensor and the Dodge, which I like going there because everyone's always giving me stuff they're throwing out and stuff. And I can't find the sensor. My eyes have really been suffering with this. And that's about it from here, man. It's really not been a whole much good on. All my analytics have been good. I checked my analytics. I'm not in competition with people. I don't have a whole bunch of subscribers, and I don't have, but it seems like I got a quality bunch of people that like what I'm saying. So that's really good. That's really, really good. I got this cool chick, man, Wonder Hussy on YouTube. That you should be watching. You know, you talked about Barstow and all that area, man. She goes into some real cool areas. She really cool video. She does some real good work too. I like it. She's informative. She goes into like old places, and she gets a story on some of them and the history on them, and then so that's been fun to watch. And I've been corresponding with her a little bit, and that's about it. I mean, that's what it is. You know, Dave really, yeah, you know, I got several of the big things I had to take care of money wise, taken care of, and I'm still not done with this stuff. So I'll try to get it out. I feel, even though I don't do radio and have been, I don't even listen because she acted stupid when I try to listen. So we just unplugged it and took it out. That was November. I heard some idiots on the accusing me of jamming, and it was so funny because I wasn't on radio. I wasn't even listening. I was going to do my own thing, and then I heard he started accusing other people, and wow. I don't know what that man's all about, and I'm glad I don't need to know anymore about that. Just stay out of my way, as I told him one time, and leave me alone. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? No, no. I should call him up on the phone. Hey, you asshole. I don't have I don't have a radio, but I don't even want to give him that much time today. I don't even want to be talking about it, really. You're pretty sick son of a bitch. And you know, an accusation of jamming it was a serious thing at one time. You know, that really was. I think it was, anyways. A serious accusation of jamming. You know, we're discussing something prevalent to our country, security, on ham radio. You come in there jamming, that's. I can't imagine if you could ever record it. You know, when he goes off, yeah, send it up because that's really sick. That really is sick. I have. I mean, I could walk over there. Well, I can't walk over there. I don't have a battery for this, but I could walk over there and show you my coax cable. It's been long unplugged. And I do feel with all this shit that's going on, we had a Russian sub off the coast. That really bothered me, not having a radio and being, you know, at ready. And, you know, I just feel like I'm not doing my part to be vigilant in the security of our country, you know. And I think it's very important. I still think ham radio is very, very important. I really do. I think it's very important. Just like I feel like this is YouTube just started this, and I don't know why or how or when, or what the reason was. The only thing about 2 weeks ago is was it Zuckerberg on that Facebook? Oh, get rid of your Facebook, man. Jeez, don't be part of that clown. And this probably is no better, but when Facebook had their problem, you know, the first thing I seen was YouTube went on go live. Now I think since I known you, you know, in the radio days, I've been wanting to go live, and I read and I watched YouTube, and I could not figure out. You need some kind of host or some crap, or it was just mind-boggling. And then I talked to some of the guys at Standing Rock about going to YouTube, and they said it's just too difficult. And now YouTube has this, and I think it's pretty cool. I think pretty cool. You know, we're not going to be here forever, so I'm going to leave a legacy behind. You know, I just hope spiritually they don't have a way to lock me into their YouTube, you know, for eternity or something, some kind of help. I watched I'm taking Did you? No, you. I don't remember the video, but there was a recording. There was a recording. I think you might have got maybe mistaken. Unless somebody else did that. I didn't do it, but that was a good night. Yeah. Yeah, that was and I didn't get upset. I just told him, I says, go get yourself some help, man. We've been friends for a long time, man. Friends, we've been friends for a long time. 23 years or something I've known you, and you're not the same person. And I realize everybody changes, but you're being very disruptive, and you're being very rude to a lot of people. And it's just, in the real world, if there was a militia in this state or whatever state I was in, I'd report the son of a bitch. I really would. I would see what we could do to burn that son of a bitch, because you disrupted something that 3860 was started many years ago by some wise people, very wise. And there's people on there that are going to try to take credit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. One of them can take a good portion of the credit because he had an amplifier. But the silent keys that started that in the beginning, that was really potent, man. That was really potent. And then like they go in and get a takeover from the Missouri boys, and I'm like, look, well, I told Possum, I said, let's get on together. If you got a 500-watt amp, send it up here. Or on a good night, let's get back on and capture that back. Because I think in the beginning, it was supposed to be east. It was supposed to be central, mountain, and west coast. And that's a Patriot. That was going to be the Patriot. So Patriot Net come on at 9 o'clock. They finish up at 10 o'clock. The whoever was going to run it in Central Time, evidently Missouri guys, would have been waiting in the wings, and we all shut up, and then just go right across the country like that, and have all these people checking in, all tuned in, and it could have alternatives. Go to 3865, the East Coast boys, go shoot the shit on 3865. 3870 was the Central guys when they were done, and they passed it on, and yada yada yada, and then all meet up at late night. Meet up late night on and how wonderful would that be if you followed all them checking in at 9 o'clock local time, and you had a friend in, say, Nevada or something, and you and him had a real good signal together, and then you wanted to rad chew later on at night after all that Patriot Nets were all checked in. I think that would have been really powerful for our country. And for a civil defense, if you look back at the civil defense, and people say, well, we don't need that anymore. That's all hockey horseshit. No, I think anytime in the defense of your nation, if you can set something up and just report things, I says, I said to one guy 4 years ago, I says, hey, where the hell is ISIS getting these brand new Toyota trucks? And one wise ass slapped the shit out of me with some foolish inbred answer. And then later that fall, they all got brand new trucks again. What he was saying the first time is they got all the trucks from when they went into Iraq, and they stole all the trucks that we gave them. And it was total bullshit. Those fucking trucks those trucks came from where? The Arkansas, the Toyota made in Arkansas, Texas. And then they got brand new ones. Well, Saudi Arabia gave it to them. Who else do you think gave it to them? So, I mean, you can't get around. That isn't conspiracy. the trucks were built here in America and now I'm mortal enemies driving around with them. I found that really, really hard to swallow, you know, and it made no sense. It made no sense. And why Saudi Arabia was going off is beyond me, giving them ISIS unless they were working for the CIA. Crazy, yeah, absolute crazy. And think about how many poor people in this country you could have bought cars for. You know, Obama wanted to buy cars for the poor people, especially the people that had jobs and didn't have no transportation in rural areas. He wanted to get them vehicles. Well, you know, I'm not into giving, but if you're spending on pedophiles like the Saudi Arabians, and they are pedophiles, there's no question about it, then what the hell does that make us? If we'd rather see somebody in backcountry or Missouri that has to drive 45 miles to go to an $8 an hour job at Walmart or Burger King, they're still out there trying to work and they don't have transportation. What do you do? Why would you enforce? Why would you give Israel artillery shells? Why would you give them the guns to shoot artillery shells? Why would you? For what reason? There is no reason. It's just barbaric industrial military complex. And too many people throughout my lifetime, he says, oh, I'm tired. We give the rest of the world all this money and we don't take care of ourselves. Well, that's just the way it is. You know, that's just the way it is. We got a freight train coming. We got automation coming. I like to do a video on that, what I learned about automation. We're done. McDonald's has got a whole kitchen. The whole store works on 3 people on a shift. 3 people. 2 in the back loading the shit, the lettuce. It does everything. Dresses the sandwiches, folds the sandwiches, put bags of sandwiches, pushes out right out front on the counter with your number on it. And you might have 1 manager in the store just to resolve any issues. They already got kiosks. I can drive there now to McDonald's if I had a cell phone and actually order 2 Big Macs and go pick them up. Walmart's doing the same thing. Automation's coming, and all these people that have been struggling, 40-hour work weeks, are going to be out of work. And then what are we going to do to them? Go get a job? The fuck you going to get a job? Well, you go to school. Well, you go to school. The only thing you're going to go to school for in this country, I think, is taking care of half-dead people. And what do they call that when you work like in a nursing home or a hospital or something? There ain't no blue-collar jobs no more, and I don't think there is. And I think if Haynes decided to come back to America after their junta over there in China, which, and start building them back here, I think just like Carrier Air Conditioner, everyone was bragging, oh, look what Donald Trump did. He got Carrier 1,200 workers back here. That wasn't a real story. And I watched an interview with the CEO of Carrier, and he says these people aren't going to be here very long. We're going to cut our workforce down to about 300, 200. I believe he said 200 or 300. And everything's going to be automated. We're getting the machinery made now. Everything can be automated. So we got to really wake up and decide what we're going to do with people and not let them decide that they're going to kill people off to reduce the world population down to 500 million people. I mean, that's not phony. They knew by the time 2018, 2021 rolled around, we're going to have automation. And what are you going to do with all these people? Trump was talking about sending them food. No more food card. Well, I mean, you're going to centralize a food warehouse to feed, 80 million people on food stamps right now? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's bizarre thinking, man. Why would you take that out of the state? Or you're going to give the state the duty. You're going to set the state up with a factory and they're going to make the foods there and then deliver them. No. They have no plan. And that'd be absurd to think that you could have that kind of service to people on welfare for food stamps in this country. That's bizarre. I mean, you could send them a case of crackers and a case of Spam and say, here, good luck. But I'll tell you what, that won't last too long before you're paying health care on these people and they start showing up with heart conditions, diabetes, 10 times worse. So if you look at the future, it really looks kind of bleak to me. It looks like jobs are going to become more and more scarce. The governments are going to be scrapping for more and more money. And they know they're going to keep putting food on these people's table. Or what are you going to do with them? You know, that's the whole thing in automation. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's worried about it. Nobody's talking about it. I'm going to get jobs in my state because I'm a big badass motherfucking blowhard. And what jobs are you going to bring here that isn't going to go automation? It's all going to automation. And then, you know, like in high school, when I asked, and I was considered disruptive on this, and I remember it. When we're in the classroom, we had auto shop, and I was in auto shop for like 2 weeks, and then classroom for 2 weeks, and we studied. This guy was a blowhard, learned very little from him, absolutely nothing, actually. But anyway, you know, he says, this was like in the 70s, and we're going to go automation. All these cars are going to be welded. They're not going to have people there with welding sticks and welding frames, and they're going to be all automated. And I says, well, what are you going to do with these people? And, you know, I'm a wise ass now, you know, a wise ass. And he says, well, they're going to operate the machines. He says, so if you got 10 welding machines, you're going to need 10 employees. And that's, you know, that's as far as the conversation went. And all I was trying to do is understand how you're going to go automated and what are you going to do with the people, even back then in the 70s. And the auto industry really did a number on in this country. They should never been allowed to make anything out of this country. Nothing, in my opinion. They should never been able to let you want to go and make it in with some other labor. We're not allowing it in the country. Period. Look what they did to Detroit. And that was all by design. You know that just as well as I do and many other people. You're not a flagrant asshole that believes jet fuel built melted steel. Or what we're seeing in the air is condensation for the most part. So I look at it and, you know, you got 5G coming. It's going to be mandatory for everyone to have a phone. You're going to be in the Grand Canyon. You're going to have 5G signal. That's all out of design control. So there's a lot of scheming shit that are going to drive up some really, really innocent people, good, hard-working Americans, and they're already being ground up. And so that's what Walmart's doing now. You walk in, you get the scanner, you go to the box of cookies or whatever you're buying, and you scan it, it beeps, tells you to put it in the bag. You put it in your bag in your shopping cart, you walk out to the front of the store, there's a pay center, you put this thing in there or some shit, and you put your debit card in and walk out. And Kroger's got a completely automated store. Kroger's is out west. I don't know if you got Kroger's down there, but Kroger's is out west, and they're completely automated. Actually, the shelves are supposed to be designed to be automated. So it's good talking to you, my friend. Maybe we'll get on the phone tomorrow. And this is really good. I needed this. Really, really stout cloudiness. And we took some of this before we got on, and starting to feel a little bit better. I want to take another one. I want to try to get to bed a little early tonight. I have a real tough time some nights getting to sleep. So this has been a pleasure. And like I said, don't be a stranger, man. You know, don't be a stranger. And I hope your family and you. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, we will, but it's if you watch enough of the videos of people, all you type in is my experience with Lyme and start listening to these people, and they're going through the same thing. I can run a marathon one day, and the next day you can't get out of bed, and it comes in cycles, and it comes and goes, and they don't know what's triggering all this. They don't know nothing about it. It's 6 times more prevalent than the spread of AIDS. 3 million people, rough estimate, ballpark figure. And if you go look for the 30 million from the CDC, that's close your eyes, ladies. That's what I got to say about the CDC. That's all they are. That's all they are. That's all they are. That's all they're worth. That's all they ever been worth. And they ain't done the goddamn thing for this country. But Big Pharma, playing the game with Big Pharma, getting money stuffed in their pockets by Big Pharma, lobbying by Big Pharma, they're pigs. They're pegs. And they're not really out to keep our country safe and warm. And that's just my opinion. Because this is prevalent now on every continent except the Antarctica. And I don't think it's a joke. And like one doctor says, well, you get 100 people and 95 of them get better and they'll have no relapse. What do you do with the 5%? What do you do with the 5% that are happening like me? I'm miserable, dude. I'm miserable. I sat here all day, you know, all day. No, I don't mean to throw you the finger. I sat here all day. I mean, just no energy to do anything but this. You know, I got stuff to do. I got coal to bring in, and I got stuff to do up here. And I just ain't getting nothing done. Just no physical energy whatsoever. No. And yeah, but you know, I want you to know that your coaching, when you told me to write all your symptoms down, go tell the doctor. I think I had 7 on there. I think we even, I sent you a picture of all of my questions. I went in there and it was just one after another. I got neck and knee and joint pain, very bad. Well, you're getting a little old and, you know, you have had arthritis before. So my whole point was I walked out of there and the butcher, neither one of them, none of the 3 of them, 4 of them, whatever they were, 4 of them, I think. No, one of them, I think one of them offered me Tylenol. I says, well, what about all these other symptoms of feeling really run down and no energy? And this fatigue syndrome isn't a joke. And so, I mean, that wasn't addressed. There wasn't nothing done with that. And so I don't know. It's just a waste of time for myself. It's aggravating to not of it. So good night.